How does a human being sleep when the darkness itself feels alive? In the ancient world, night was never just a quiet end to the day. It was a vast unknown, filled with fear, silence, and dangers hidden beyond the reach of firelight. Long before electricity and locked doors, sleep was not a moment of comfort, but a fragile pause between survival and disaster. Every sunset forced people into a battle against cold, fear, thieves, wild animals, and the endless uncertainty of the dark. To close one's eyes at night required courage, because no one truly knew what waited outside the walls once the last light disappeared. In ancient villages, night arrived early and completely. As the sun vanished behind forests and hills, the world changed shape. Dirt roads became empty shadows, and the wind carried strange sounds through the darkness. Families hurried indoors before the last glow faded from the sky. Heavy wooden doors were shut tightly, and whatever furniture or stones people could find were pushed against them for protection. Inside small homes, weak flames flickered inside fireplaces, casting giant moving shadows across stone and mud walls. Children pressed themselves close to their mothers, while adults sat silently listening to every sound outside. A barking dog, footsteps in the distance, or the creak of wood in the wind could freeze an entire room in fear. Sleep itself was different from what we know today. People rarely slept deeply for the entire night. Instead, they drifted in and out of rest, waking often to check the fire, listen for danger, or look outside through narrow cracks in the walls. This broken sleep was not unusual. It was a survival instinct. A long, careless sleep could mean waking up to thieves inside the house, a spreading fire, or predators attacking nearby animals. Night demanded awareness, even from exhausted bodies. In old cities, fear grew even stronger after sunset. The streets were narrow, filthy, and swallowed by darkness once the markets closed. Without lamps to light the roads, entire neighborhoods disappeared into black silence. Criminals, drunkards, and desperate wanderers roamed through alleyways, while guards carrying torches walked slowly through the streets, striking the ground with wooden staffs to announce their presence. Even wealthy families slept uneasily. Coins were hidden beneath pillows, knives rested beside beds, and servants often slept near doors in case intruders entered during the night. Travelers faced the harshest nights of all. Roads between towns stretched through forests, mountains, and empty plains where no protection existed. Merchants and wanderers slept beside wagons, under trees, or near tiny campfires that barely pushed back the darkness. Some tied themselves to their horses or carts so they would not be robbed while sleeping. Others took turns staying awake while companions rested for a few hours. In deep forests, sleep became almost impossible. Every snapping branch sounded like approaching footsteps, and every distant howl reminded travelers that they were far from safety. Many slept with knives still clutched in their hands, ready to wake and fight within seconds. Inside castles and military camps, sleep was no gentler. Soldiers often rested fully dressed with armor beside them and weapons close enough to reach instantly. Guards on tall towers struggled to stay awake in freezing winds while watching the darkness below. Even kings rarely slept peacefully. Their chambers were protected by servants, guards, and locked doors, because betrayal and assassination were constant fears. No matter how grand the castle looked during the day, the night still carried uncertainty into every corridor. For poor families, survival often meant sleeping together in a single crowded room. It was not only warmth they shared, but comfort against fear itself. Parents held children tightly while listening to storms and strange noises outside. Sometimes even animals slept indoors because their breathing and movement made people feel less alone against the darkness. The sound of another living creature nearby became proof that life continued through the long night. The sounds of ancient nights created a world of their own. Firewood crackled endlessly in hearths. Wind slipped through cracks in walls with long whistling cries. Rain tapped against roofs while dogs barked far away into the darkness. Sleeping people learned to understand these sounds almost like a language. Some noises meant safety. Others warned of danger approaching. Even while asleep, the human mind stayed alert, never fully surrendering to rest. As centuries passed, candles became lanterns. Lanterns became electric lights, and strong walls replaced weak wooden homes. Yet something ancient still remains inside people today. Many still dislike complete darkness. Sudden noises in the middle of the night still make hearts race before the mind understands why. Somewhere deep within human memory survives the fear of those endless nights when sleep was uncertain and darkness felt like a living thing surrounding the world. That is how our ancestors faced the night, with trembling fires, half-open eyes, and hearts that refused to stop listening. Sleep was never simply rest. It was a daily act of survival, a fragile escape carried carefully through the darkness until the first light of dawn finally returned.